Hey, welcome back to The Key. I'm so excited to introduce you to our guests today. Two of my favorite people in Columbus doing amazing things. We've got Cody and Gracyn Tim, and I'm not even going to do a real bio because you guys have had so much stuff happening with your business that I don't want to botch it. So I want you to say exactly what's going on. So welcome. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Kim. We appreciate you having us on.
Of course.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So I know where you currently are, and I can't wait to get into that. But let's talk about, Cody, I know you had a whole different career before you got into the design build world of custom home building. So tell us where you started and then how you navigated to where you are now.
Yeah. So you nailed it. I started my career in medical sales in Central Illinois. So just right out of college, got into that. It's very lucrative. You never really know what day, like what's going to happen in each day. Really, it's crazy. And my family, they had different businesses like in construction when I was growing up. So I always kind of had that, I guess, background in construction. But when we continued to kind of grow in my career, I got a promotion at a young age to come out to Columbus and manage 5 states. And when I got here, I was like, wow, like that custom home world is a reality here. And back home, it just really isn't. And so it finally got a little bit of spark in me. And we had our baby girls come in, and I just like continue to kind of get closer and closer to wanting to start this business. And finally I reached like a point where I was just like, I'm never going to be home. I want to see my babies. I want to be a present father. And I went to her and was just like, hey, what do you think about me starting a business? And then really like we just did it. Like we got the LLC, we created a logo, we got a sign, and it was going to be slow and steady, but I just kind of jumped right in and was like, hey, there's a property that we need to buy. It's a flip, and it'll help propel us like that much further along. And so we risked pretty much everything and bought that house. I spent hours and hours and hours there fixing it up. And really like that was the start of Tim & Co. So
Which is so Tim and Co. For those of you who are in Columbus, Ohio, listening, you may recognize it, and if you're not, you're going to know it because you guys do beautiful work. So I do think anyone who is in the country is going to start seeing what you guys are doing. All right, so we've gone from sales, now you're into build, and then Gracyn is the design arm, which you are so talented. I mean, I just think here's the thing. Being in real estate, when you walk into a property, you can tell when it's curated and you can tell when somebody knows what they're doing. And so I just feel like you have a gift, and I'm glad that you guys are doing this together. Share a little bit, Gracyn, on how you got into like the interior design side. And then I definitely want to know how it is working with each other.
Wow, first, such a compliment. That's so nice to hear, especially coming from you. I really started the design portion of our business out of necessity. It wasn't really anything I was looking to do. I was in my 3rd trimester with twins when we moved here. So it was really just my intention to kind of stay at home. And twins were obviously really unexpected as well. So, it was always just kind of my intention to stay at home. And it started with our Project Pocono. Like you said, we risked everything financially to invest in our business and get it off the ground. And it started, I guess, with he was really overwhelmed with like doing all of the actual labor that he was like, I don't have time to outsource like design. I don't even really want to pick stuff out. Do you think that you'd have time? And I enjoyed doing it. So it just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah.
But it was really nothing that I was looking to do. So it kind of is something that I really definitely kind of more stumbled into it.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. So, all right. So talk to me about how it is working together. So you have, how old are the girls now?
They're 3.
They're 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have 3-year-old twins and you are building this incredible business. How do you guys do that as a couple? Like, how do you do that together? What does it look like? I'm sure it's messy, which I would love for you to share the mess because that's what we do here.
Yeah.
But how I think sometimes on the outside, it can look so pretty and perfect, right? But I think speak to us a little bit about what that really looks like. I'm sure there's a lot of like high fives, tap in, tap out, like it's your turn, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. It's definitely something that we don't have perfected, and we're learning as we're going. We're building the plane as we're flying it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it comes down to communication. Like, we really just kind of have to like talk things through, and just remind each other that we're on the same team at the end of the day. So a lot of we used to joke about this, but like even some of our date nights, we'll find ourselves like just having a work meeting, and we're like, okay, this isn't a work meeting, it's a date night, you know?
You're like, now we're expensing it.
Yeah. Yeah,
During
exactly.
the week, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just making sure that we find the times where we can check into things, check out of things, and then making sure that we're, being partners in pretty much every facet. So, not only when we're working together, we're being partners, but when we're parenting, and then just really at the end of the day, our relationship is really based off of our friendship that we started.
Yeah.
So that makes it a little bit easier to handle, but absolutely it's messy and a lot of things overlap. Like, I think it's really dishonest to say like, oh, we work together and then as soon as we come home at 5, we take those hats off. That's just not realistic. When you work together, you live together, you parent together, all of those things. So it's really just how do we intertwine those, and how do we, like you said, like tag team the ins and outs of, okay,
Yeah.
I can handle this, I can't handle this, it's your turn to handle this, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And the communication. It's
Yeah.
funny, in speaking with so many entrepreneurs, I think there's a theme, and you guys have already hit on a few, where it's okay, I thought about this and then I couldn't just dip my toe in. Like, I had to go into the deep end and figure it out. But then also communication and being willing to have it not be like these perfect little silos, which I don't really think life is that way, even though for some reason I feel like we were taught that, or we thought it's like, oh, you work from this time and then you move on to different parts of your life.
Yeah.
I think if you have your own business, like, you always have that, and so you've got to be able to, I think boundaries are really important, but I do think, it's not a 9 to 5. I mean, I think,
Yeah.
you're probably not drawn to a 9 to 5. That's why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did that.
I think every business owner that like starts, I think in their mind, they're like, I'm gonna have these boundaries and I can set my own hours and I can do whatever I want. And like, that's true, but it's not true, because like, there's just so many things that happen and pop up, and it carries throughout like the night or early mornings or weekends sometimes even. And like, it's really tough to like set that boundary. And like, as like more of a husband role and a father, it's like, I really need to learn how to set the boundary and like abide by it, because if you don't, like, you kind of fall into this trap of like, I'm doing it for them. I'm doing it for them. But then they're going to be like, oh, he wasn't around, or,
Mhm.
oh, he wasn't present. And it's definitely a challenge. But I think that, again, we do a good job of like managing that. And she'll sometimes like check me, and she'll be like, hey, like, it's 6, like, put your phone down, be present for an hour with the kids, and then like, you can work later if you need to, stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's just finding the balance and kind of be there for each other, like as husband wife too, when
Mhm.
like things are tough and like we both have like stressful days, and it's like, hey, I'm also your husband, I'm not just your partner
Yep.
in business. And so like, just making sure that we're there for each other through that too is I think my biggest takeaway.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so can we talk about the business merger and everything that's been going on? Okay, walk us through. So Tim and Co, custom home builder, beautiful work.
Yep.
You take it from there. What happened? Because this is all recent, fairly recent, right?
Yeah,
Within the last
yeah,
year.
yeah.
Okay.
August
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah, August of this year. So really, I mean, we started Tim and Co. not only for the things that we went over earlier, but I'd kind of found my faith late, and I felt a calling from God that like, hey, this is the mission that I want you to live out, and to make a bigger impact, in the community, and to help other people that are either on our team or outside of our team. And so like, when that happened, that's really why, again, like, Timico started, and then I just continued to grow. And, as you said, like, we were kind of getting a lot of great opportunities and amazing projects and amazing clients, and just building these relationships in town. And it just kind of got a little bit more overwhelming, like, faster than I thought,
Yeah.
and with that, I was like managing 5 projects at once, and 2 or 3 of them were actually different designers, and she was only doing 1 or 2 at the time. And so I was like all over the place, and I was just like, I really need to find some help, because like, it's getting to a point where it's like too much.
Yep.
And then like right around the same time last year, again, weird situation. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna look for other businesses that I want to buy. and because that's like the person I am, and just make our lives a little bit more chaotic. But I found a listing that was for a boutique general contractor, and I more so was like, what is this? Like, didn't know like what to expect, and I just wanted to know. Like, we were not actively trying to like expand our business because we were already doing well, and so I found it and I looked at it, looked through it, and very quickly, like, they wanted to meet us, the owners of Epic Group. And I thought that that was like interesting because like sometimes that doesn't happen. Like,
Yeah.
you don't get that opportunity. It's just like who's got the biggest bid, and that's just how it works. But they wanted to meet us, and when we sat in that room, they said the exact same thing that like we would have said and like thought, which was God put us in this room together, and we were kind of this like, I guess, perfect fit to take over their business and like who they thought would have. And it just took, it took them a little longer than I think they thought. But yeah, we were able to get together, get the deal done. It took a few more months than we thought, but like now it is done. And fast forward a few months of taking it over, we were able to kind of put our spin on their brand and our brand. And instead of kind of killing off Timico, we had some kind of outside advice say, hey, you know what? Like, you bootstrap that, they bootstrap theirs. Like, let's make it one. And so we ended up going with Epic and Co. And all the new stuff finally came out. And so we're really, really excited to take it from here. But I'll let Grayson kind of fill you in on some of that fun stuff.
Yeah, I think an important thing to touch on when we decided to merge was that the previous owners were looking to basically hand over the reins to their company, but they wanted their legacy to live on. And because we're not local to Columbus, one thing that we were really yearning for, even though we were seeing success early, was we wanted mentorship and we wanted community, because we did get to a point where we were looking actively to hire employees. But when you're not local, you don't always know who the right people are, and you want to make sure you're making good decisions
Yeah.
when you're running your own company. And who you hire is really important. So it was just an answered prayer on both sides. Like, they were looking for someone that was, going to take over the reins and was going to honor their legacy. We were looking for someone that had like an established community and an established business to kind of mentor and kind of take us into under their wing. So it really just was like an answered prayer on both sides. And the rebrand and the name reflects that.
Yeah.
So it's basically the merging of the names is the merging of the families, it's the merging of the companies, but it's also the merging of the legacies so that we can all move forward together under one name that feels like home to all of us.
Well, and I mean, we've said this from the minute that I first met you guys. You're so good at merch and you're so good at the branding. So I've been obsessed, which we'll make sure everyone can follow you in the show notes and everything. But you need to give them a follow on Instagram because their work is beautiful, but also they get marketing. You guys get branding and it's fun to watch.
Yeah, I think, the most important part for us is the client experience. And it's hard to do that when you don't have branding that makes sense to the client, is attractive to the client, but also is like reflective of who you are. I think it's just like a really important piece to the visual story of your company.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get, first of all, how big is the team? Now you guys have how many people?
We have 5 employees now.
Yeah.
And then Grayson and I, we have a lot of subcontractors that do a lot of our work. Luckily, same thing. Some of them have been with the original Epic owners since like 2010. So like they're a part of the team too in like their own way, but they're just, 1099. So we have 5 like W-2 employees. We have an office in Shawnee Hills. So it's
awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's so great.
Yeah.
You guys are doing custom build, renovation. Speak to me about like if somebody were like, ooh, I want to build a new house, or I need a really cool addition or whatever. Is that something that you guys offer?
Yeah, so I'll let Cody take kind of like the process, but with this merger, one thing that's been a little confusing that it's great to be able to give clarity on now, is that I am pivoting my role a little bit. I'm not currently going to be continuing with design, but the reason is because when you're scaling a business, a lot of the times designers can be spread thin when they have so many projects that they're doing. So I am still taking things here and there, but we thought that it would be best to kind of collaborate with the best. There are so many amazing designers in Columbus
Agree.
that it almost feels more authentic to the client to kind of find a designer that fits them, fits their style, and fits their needs.
Yeah.
And then that way we know that they're getting the absolute best product that they can get, while we, focus still design driven, but it's more on the execution of it. But yeah, we do full renovations, new build projects, and we do commercial build outs as well. That's something that is kind of, we don't really talk about it that much yet, but we have
That's
some really
exciting.
exciting projects happening in 2026. So we really do kind of offer it all.
You said client experience is really important, which it is for me in my job as well. I think when you have somebody who is obviously trusting you with something really big in their life, be it it's a renovation or a new home, that's they're trusting you with a lot, because that's memories, that's family, that's all these things that kind of get folded into that. So share with us, maybe not all the secrets, but share with us some of the things that you do initially in that process of that client experience, like those different touches when you have somebody that says, I want you guys to do this. Like, walk us through that process of how you make that so special for them.
Yeah, you mean from like first
Yeah.
inquiry to
Yeah.
the beginning? Um, it's something that I think is always refined.
Mhm.
Like it can always have little tweaks here and there. And I feel like the last few years, I'm always like, oh, maybe we should do it this way. And I don't think there's probably one right answer or another. Like, I think everybody probably has their own processes and it works for them, and that's okay. But essentially, we like to have a client, put an inquiry on our website usually. Sometimes it's like on Linktree, so it could be Instagram. And they kind of fill out some generic information. We love to get a better idea for who they are, like what they want their project to be. If it is a new build, is it a renovation, what their budget's really important, and just understanding and making sure that they are a good fit for our company, and they align with kind of the expectations that we have and the trades that we have, because that's important, right?
Yeah.
And then from there, we usually have like an initial phone call, to learn a little bit about them. Like, I really like to get to know the either, sometimes it's both husband and wife, sometimes it's just wife, sometimes it's just husband. So really just getting to know them, and again, finding out more about their project, like their timeline, and just getting as much information as we possibly can. And then really the next step would just be, where are you at in the journey? Like, I think some people overlook like how much goes into a project.
Mhm.
Really, if it's new build, it's even more, but a renovation even has just like so many details. And I just try to give knowledge to the client, like helping them understand why most people can't say, hey, this is how much your project's going to be. And so that's usually something that I touch on, as well. But then really it would be going and seeing their house. Do they need an architect? Do they not? Do they need an interior designer? Do they not? And most, I would say, now almost 100% of our projects all require an interior designer. So now that Grayson isn't, we would recommend a designer to partner with.
Mhm.
We would then get more of that information. Same thing with an architect. And then once the plans and like some of the selections come together, that's when the client will actually get, this is my project, this is how much it's going to be. And then we sign a contract instead of doing it the other way around, because I just feel like you're doing clients disservice if you're like, hey, this is how much your project's going to be, when you don't know detail, because
Mhm.
it's not like you got $5 tile and you got $100 tile,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, what's your expectation?
Yeah.
And then that's how we just help elevate the experience, because if you don't do it, you lose sight of like the most important thing, which is usually the amount.
Mhm. Yeah. We all have a budget. I mean, it would be so great if we didn't, but
Well, and I think, um, to just kind of wrap that up into some of the biggest takeaways that A, set us apart, but B, um, I think elevate our client experience is we educate our clients.
Mhm.
So we're usually not the lowest bid when we're competing for a project. So we try to be very transparent and upfront about why that is. And it's like our new, I'm talking about the branding and like shouting out the new tagline, but it's enduring craftsmanship for the moments that matter. So we're not going to cut corners where other people might. And that might mean that that's not our client, and that's okay. But we
Mhm.
know that that's the difference maker for our client that's
Yeah.
out there. So we try to educate on why numbers are the way they are, why we're setting things a little bit higher, because it's more realistic. The last thing that we want to do is get all this information, form a relationship, see the Pinterest board, and give them a budget that's not realistic.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest part. And then transparency and communication throughout the process. So being transparent about, okay, this happened here, this is why, or hey, we should be thinking about this beforehand. Just trying to anticipate issues or things that clients may feel later on, like, well, why didn't I know about this then? So we're trying to tackle that beforehand. And that's how we feel like we have really tackled giving an elevated client experience.
I mean, anybody that's gone through any sort of home project, transparency and communication, I think that saves marriages, honestly. So way to go.
Absolutely. And things are always going to come up. I think that's part of the process. If you're transparent throughout the process, then when problems do come up, clients are less like, okay, I wasn't totally in the blind. I knew that this could be an issue.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of tackling that and forming like a real relationship.
Yeah. I mean, you're building trust at the beginning, which is like, that's hopefully what gets you to the finish line. Okay. So transparency and communication. Are you building systems special for that, set you guys apart from what you think is offered in the industry?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So essentially, in building, like, there's already these like amazing different platforms and stuff that you can kind of sign up for and like be a part of, and it helps elevate the client experience throughout from the beginning of the project to the end of the project. And so, like, where the transparency and communication come from is a really amazing software that's called Builder Trend. Some people use it, some people don't, but essentially that the client gets full kind of transparency through this online platform, and it's also an app where we can communicate directly to the client and show like progress photos. We can say, hey, this happened during a renovation. Like, what do you want us to do? Like, here's your options. And you can track all the financials through it. And like, they have a schedule of their projects. So like, if it is a kitchen and they live there, they can be like, okay, cabinets are coming this week. Like, I don't want to be here. I want to be out of the house,
Yeah.
So it's just really nice for like a client to be able to see that and be a part of that throughout the project. And then the really only other cool feature of that is you can put all of like the selections and manuals and like different things. So like after the project, for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, they can log in and say, hey, what was that model number again? And then they can find it and they can, get a replacement part if they need it and all that. So it's like a helpful organizational tool. And really, like, outside of that, there's so many other little things that we use as a business to help like the back end stuff.
Yeah.
That's also system related, but the client technically doesn't see. But yeah, because we're young, it's like we're always trying to find something that's going to help make our business better, and like we'll take that risk and like invest in it so that we give the client a better experience throughout.
Yeah, that's awesome. Plus, like, who doesn't love an easy app where you just know everything's located? I think we all, our brains are thinking that way now with everything. That's awesome.
Sure.
Okay, so where do you guys find inspiration? Like, where do you get inspiration?
That's a good question. I would say there's amazing builders here locally that inspire us, but now with social media, I mean, I can see houses in Utah that are being built, in California on a cliff. I can see houses in Boston being built, and so um, I think that is where I really draw like most of the inspiration of like what type of houses I want to build here,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to kind of show clients like, hey, this is what we can do. Like, look how cool this can be, and just kind of really test the limit when it comes to like what our options are.
Yeah.
So that's where I find a lot of inspiration. Pinterest is a great tool too, but really like Instagram, I think right now is like where I find a lot of inspo.
Yeah, I think like strategically, we do look at the West Coast and the East Coast because they tend to have trends happening a little bit quicker before it hits the Midwest.
Yeah.
So just to kind of tackle trends maybe before they happen or as they happen, so that we're keeping up with current times. But really, we find inspiration even here locally, just what people are doing and the architecture that feels like Columbus too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Cool. All right. What design or construction trend, and I say trend lightly because I don't know that you're doing such like trendy stuff, but what do you guys love? And then also what annoys you, or what do you wish would just go away?
Oh,
You can start with either one.
Yeah, one trend that, and I'm not even sure it's a trend. I think as we get older too, I think some people get tired of just doing what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
But something that I'm really loving is like sentimental or nostalgic pieces coming back in the home and really designing around those. So like if you have an antique chair or if you have a piece of furniture, or even if it's just like an item that has been passed down through the family or it means a lot to you, like it really is one of the only ways that you can make a project feel so specific to that client because it's their thing.
Yeah.
I just love that. And I hope people really start to, and I know people already are, but just continue to kind of like dig into that because, I mean, there's nothing more sad than like the millennial gray everything,
all
right?
gray or all white or yeah.
But I mean, like, hey, I'm not going to yuck someone's yum if that's like what it is. Like, that's great. But I think especially as we continue and I continue on in the design portion of it, but with building, like having intentionality behind pieces, behind rooms, behind homes, it just makes the difference and it makes it feel truly one of a kind. Gosh, I think one thing, and again, I'm probably going to yuck someone's yum, and I understand that, but having like light walls and dark trim, like I'm just someone where I feel like trim should just kind of be an accent piece to your house. It should not be a focal point.
Yeah.
That's just something when I see it, my heart hurts. Like I'm like, there are so many different ways to
do it,
to be different or to just to do something different. But that's just one thing
that's
I
good.
Personally am like, I'd be okay if that
disappeared. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what is the one thing you wish you never would have to see again? Design related.
Yeah. I'm lean more for like architectural design. That drives me crazy. From like a trend standpoint. But I just can't stand like boxy homes. Like especially like at a certain price point, like I think that it can just be a little bit better. And I just wish like people like took it to the next level instead of just spending all their money and time like on the inside. Cause it's like the architecture of a home is so much, it really creates its own story, just like the inside does. And like, I think people overlook it a little bit. And like, you know, the siding is boring. Like, let's do something new. Let's do, a better window package. Like, let's bring some architectural like elements to the exterior, both from the front and back. And it's just, I think it misses the mark a lot. Just really here locally, but I think we can, again, by showing examples and kind of pushing the limits a little bit, I think that we can make an impact and make it a little bit better, both from an exterior and interior standpoint.
Yeah. We need you to do more of that. Because I do think, I mean, especially being in residential real estate, I think, you know, the product is the product, right? And so people sometimes are accepting what it is, even though I think there are probably people who are having an appetite for something else. So keep bringing it at all price points. Oh my gosh. Okay. Tell me a little bit. I mean, I want you guys to think through a scenario that maybe it was a big challenge. It could be business. It could be, you know, figuring out how you guys are working together. What was a big challenge and how did you get through it?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge that we faced, especially me, was the beginning, like the Pocono project. Really because like I was like, I literally lived there pretty much. And like I did anything I possibly could to like just help us get it done. And there's just so many different things, like physically hard, mentally hard, emotionally hard. There's like we were risking everything, like Gracyn said, like we got to a point where I was like, we only have like this much time to like get it done and sell it, or like we won't be able to pay our mortgage.
Yeah.
And like when you get to that point and you do that, especially again as a dad, husband, it's like my kids won't be able to eat, and like it just really freaks you out. And so there's just a lot that went into it, but like it was so rewarding when it was done. And again, God blessed us and was able to put a client in front of us that wanted to buy our house that fast. And it just it was overall like just a huge thing that happened in our lives. But like again, it exactly what I thought it was going to happened. God blessed us and we got the house sold, and it was all worth it at the end, but a huge challenge for sure for me.
When you think through that project, like when you think through Pocono, I mean, I think sometimes when it's your first, it's probably always going to feel like that. But do you feel like there are still elements? I'm sure you have learnings that you take, but do you feel like that Pocono feeling comes back on other projects too?
I mean, weirdly enough, I don't know if we'll ever be more proud of a project than that one together, because for us to start the dream and to get the ball rolling, we had to risk everything first. And when you know that feeling, you know that you never want to feel that feeling again, but you're also grateful for that feeling. So I feel like although it was our biggest hurdle, I'm not even sure if it really was our biggest hurdle, but it was one of the biggest hurdles, getting started. Most of the time for a lot of business owners, it really is the biggest hurdle. It's just getting started, taking the risk. But there was so much learning that came from that I don't even really look at it anymore as like, wow, it was such a stressful time, but like how rewarding was all of the lessons that we learned like from it. So
Yeah.
Like, it was never the goal to be like a flipper. Like, that was not like, some people at the beginning were like, "Oh, are you flippers?" And I was like, "No, we're not. Like, we're starting a construction company, but this is like our ticket kind of thing."
Yeah.
That's kind of how we approached it. And like, from a design standpoint, like, I feel like we maximized the house, but it was also like, we could have done this better and we could have done that better. And you look back and you're like, now we've had even more beautiful projects, like from kitchens and different cabinets and all this different stuff. Yeah, new builds now. And like, you're just like, but it wasn't, the feeling just is different when it was that intense of a project for our life.
Like everything's on the line. Yeah, like you knew everything was on the line. Which, kudos to you for like jumping in, because I do think I don't know. I think people have these ideas and they hold on to these ideas and then just never believe in themselves enough to do that. So the fact that you guys said like, yes, I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
I guess you're not feeding your family, but that isn't going to last for very long. We know, there's some other pivot you could make.
I had a feeling, like, let's say it didn't work out. I felt like I could get back into medical sales pretty fast and still be successful in it. So I wasn't too concerned.
Yeah.
But yeah, still just like the financial part was tough.
I think a lot of it though has to do with like the spirit, and I am not going to take any credit for that because Cody that's how he is. I think that's how you know that you have the entrepreneurial spirit. Like, I definitely have supported and cheered on like this dream of ours that we have now, because his dreams are my dreams. That's part of being married. But when you have that entrepreneurial spirit, it's like, I'm going to risk it and I'm going to do it and I'm going to have faith and I'm going to trust myself. And I know no matter what, I'll do whatever it takes to make it work. So it's like what you said. I think his like, what's the worst that can happen was like, I know that I can work any job. I know I can do this, but like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And so I have to risk everything so that I can know the reward that it is when it succeeds and have faith that it'll succeed.
It's awesome. It's so good. All right. So what about an accomplishment that you guys are really proud of?
Like a pinch me moment?
Yeah. Like something that has happened, or something that makes you guys proud, or a recent accomplishment or a win, something that you guys are like, you're really proud of it.
Like I said, I don't know if there's going to be like any project that makes me more proud than Pocono, just because of everything that we had at stake. But there's a couple of projects that we're working on right now that we can't really talk about, but it was like a pinch me moment for me. I'm not sure. I mean, Cody's story might be a little bit different, but like he said, our journey to faith, our journey to finding Jesus really is the reason why Tim and Co existed, which is why Epic and Co exists, all of these things, right? But we always felt like this was the divine calling for us, like this was the mission. But we were approached and were kind of asked out of the blue, like there weren't any references or anything. Like we were just kind of asked out of the blue to do these really substantial projects that we're really excited at, that we'll probably share at some point. But it just definitely cleared any doubt in my mind that this is the call in the mission for sure. So it was a really cool thing to witness, to be a part of, to watch him kind of be a part of, and know for sure that like this is definitely what we should be
What
doing.
you should be
Because for
doing.
me,
Yeah.
it's different for him. I think Cody, a lot of times, like he doesn't have time for doubt. I do. So when I'm doubting and I get stuck in those moments, like it is kind of hard to be like, okay, is this what we should be doing? Is this the right decision? I overthink things. I have perfectionism complex.
Mhm.
So all of these things, like I'm in my head a lot more than he is. He's kind of out more doing stuff, and I'm in my head a little bit more. And that was one of the moments where I was like, wow, like God is so good, and like this is all starting to make sense to me. Like I
Mhm.
think Cody always really kind of knew the vision and saw the bigger picture. So that was just a cool moment recently where I was like, wow, like this is really reassuring, and I know now more than ever that we're doing what we should be doing. So
Mhm.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think she nailed it.
Yeah.
I don't have like a ton to add. I think just like the local recognition and people like jumping on board
Hmm.
has been like the pinch me moment maybe. Where like it's just kind of like, yeah, I have this dream and this is what I want to do, but it's like, is it gonna work? Is it not? And I think just like the local support, you know, and like these friends that are in your corner that like continue to be in your corner, and just like them saying like, wow, this is so cool, like, I'm so proud of you, blah blah blah. Like I think those are the moments where I'm like, this is pretty like cool, you know, like
Yeah.
I mean it keeps me like going, right? And I think those are the things that like I appreciate and don't take for granted, you know.
That's
So
awesome. That's awesome. All right. So let's do some personal questions. If your twins were to describe you individually, what would they say? I know there are only three, but just, how would they describe you?
like personality traits,
Yeah.
hmm, I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of like the funny guy sometimes, and I let them do like more than she probably does.
You're a good
Like
cop. You're the
yeah,
good cop.
kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Like we get donuts on Saturdays and stuff. So like they just I think look to me for like I think they think like, guidance for sure. And that I'm kind of like Superman in a way. Like they want to come hug me, when they're hurt and all that kind of stuff. So that warms my heart. But I think definitely like funny and protective. But also hopefully loving, like, but, I think at times, like, they already know that I'm busy, which is kinda sad, but I think that they, like, know that I'm working hard, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of funny that this is the word that's coming to mind, but like I think that my girls would like consider me a friend,
Mhm.
which I actually really find endearing and I love because I think especially millennials, it's like everyone says like, "Oh, you're not disciplining enough or you're just trying to be their friend." But I do think like the basis of friendship with your kids is a really beautiful thing. And I want them to feel like I'm a friend. I want them to be able to come to me with things. So I definitely think that they hopefully would call me that. And I know that they the same way that they come and run to you and like they just know that we're a safe space. Like I
Mhm.
definitely do feel that. I feel like they know that I'm warm towards them and that I'm there for them. But everything we do, I mean, really the motivating factor underneath it all is those two girls. So
Yeah.
and they know it too.
Yeah.
They work it. So
They're so cute. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. That it's funny. I have a really dear friend of mine from childhood, and she has three kids who are older than mine. And she always said, I felt like I was always trying to get parenting advice from her because she was one step ahead of me. And she said, with her two older boys, of course you're going to have to discipline, and there are going to be big mistakes that happen. But if they really know you have their back, it's like you've done it right,
Absolutely.
so you're creating a safe space is amazing for those girls.
Yeah.
They're so cute.
Yes, I'm biased, but they definitely are.
Well,
And I mean, I think humanizing the fact too, having twins, this was really easy because I feel like maybe I don't know what it's like to be a singleton parent, so I can't even try to relate, but I have been overwhelmed really since the beginning. So them just kind of knowing like I'm human too and I'm not always going to get it right
yeah.
and not being afraid to say I'm sorry to my kids and know what that looks like. Um that's just huge for me. Like
Yeah.
I'm just learning too. Like you're learning how to be a human, I'm learning how to be a mom at the same time. Like
Yes.
let's learn together, let's grow together.
I love that. Okay, so now I want you guys describe each other and like your style. Give each other what's your style?
Like
What is
fashion style or
no,
just
just like well, no, let's do like
okay.
work business style. Like what do you admire most in Cody, what he brings to the business?
Ooh. Okay, this is easy. He I feel like I'm saying this word so many times, but he and I can tell, especially with the merger and now having employees, because like, I mean, it was just us two. Now having employees, what I can tell that he does really well, that I'm sure he did in his previous job too, is he's very like, you're a part of the group. He's very like a friend. I know I keep saying friendship, but like really he gets people to like him and he gets people to trust him. Through forming like real bonds and like getting to know people, not just like what they're doing at work, but like what they like to do outside of work, who they are, what makes them tick. I just really admire that, and it's something that I'm not always great at doing. So I really like look to him and I'm like, wow, that's really cool.
That's awesome. Okay, now your turn about Gracyn.
Mm. There might be like more than one word to it, but she's like more of this visionary kind of person, if that makes sense. And she always like makes me think kind of outside the box sometimes because I'm always like way deep in. But like the branding and all the things that you see like isn't necessarily like me. Like I think that's how I would have wanted it to be, but like she can like put it on paper, put it out there and just like really crush it. And like just her vision on everything like and then like if there's client things and or like business related things or these system things like she just is thinking kind of more about the deep business things that like sometimes like I just don't have time for.
Yeah.
But she's like, hey, have you thought about this? You know, and so I think more visionary on like a creative side, I
Yeah.
guess is like the best way to explain it. Is that good?
That's awesome. Okay, how did you guys meet?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we met freshman year of high school so this is like, we're gonna show how old we are. They were doing laptops in the school, like they were giving you
Oh,
a school
girl,
issued
I'm so much older than you. A laptop in a school.
It just makes us feel so millennial,
Like not an iPad.
yeah, like
totally.
they're gonna be like,
A
you didn't
laptop.
have that the whole time. So it was something that our school was doing for the first year, our freshman year. They were doing school issued laptops, and we ran into each other, and it's so funny because it's again like it's a God moment where I can remember like exactly what he was wearing, exactly what he looked like. Like I just,
Funny.
and we didn't talk or anything, but it was just the first time like we locked eyes. But yeah, freshman year of high school. And then I actually came here to Columbus. I was a D1 athlete here for a couple years, and then he was at our hometown state school. And when I relocated back home, we reconnected. But we've known each other
Long time.
longer than we haven't known each other now, which is kind of crazy to say.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's how we met.
I love it. That's so cool. Okay. Please follow along. These guys have this journey that is incredible. I'm so proud to be able to call you guys friends because I just think whatever, I don't know. I know you have your eyes set on some things that you probably can't share. We'll have to do an episode 2.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back and you can give us some updates. But please just follow their journey. You guys are doing such cool work. And I think the fact that you are so faith-based and you just have a center, I think that's something that I think a lot of people probably are missing in their lives. So hopefully it has touched someone, in what you're saying today. I always finish the stuff with quickfire, but before we get to that, if you could give like some advice to someone who's listening to this, maybe they feel, maybe they're stuck, or maybe they have an idea and they're just scared, or maybe they're lost. Like what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat around it. The best fulfillment that you're gonna get and the most at peace you'll get is getting in touch with your creator and finding your identity and knowing the truth about who you are and what you are and the things that you're capable of and the power that you hold, all of those things for us, it made this journey a lot easier, and it made rooting each other on and trusting each other a lot easier, because a lot of those questions or confusions that you might be having, there's answers, and there's a book with those answers. So that part makes some of those really big, overwhelming feelings feel a lot smaller, and it makes the mission a lot more clear when you can just get those answered.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, she nailed it. I would say, God created us for a reason and gave us ability to live out a mission that He ultimately has for our lives. And so, if you can kind of ask God, pray about it, and kind of figure that out, like your life will change. But it does come again with the ability to implement. Like you actually have to do it. And I think there's a lot of people that may be listening to this or may not be, but they there's so many people that are like, oh, I love this. Like this, I want to bake cookies or I want to,
Mhm.
but I don't think I'm going to sell enough cookies. It's like, just, you gotta start and you gotta do it. And if you don't do it, then like, you're always going to live for the rest of your life. Like, dang, if I were to make those cookies, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I just think that, God has your back, obviously, through and through. And you just have to take the leap and trust in Him that He's got your back. And that's like the best lesson.
I
for
love
sure.
that. I love that. Okay, quick fire. These are totally different questions, not about business. The first thing that comes to mind, just shoot it out. Okay, the first one. If there's one local spot in Columbus that everyone should visit, what is it? And it could be anything.
Cento.
Yeah.
Cento. Okay.
Yeah.
Love that.
Super underrated.
Cento, for those, it's German Village. It's an
Yeah.
amazing restaurant.
Oh yeah.
Get there.
Get the steak.
Get the steak and the espresso martini.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right. What about one life hack or time saver that you swear by? Parents of twins, you've got to have some good hacks.
I'd love to have some actually.
Have twins? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Shoot, I don't know. Life hack. Yeah, I don't know.
Life hack.
Or a time saver. A time saver.
Calendar people or anything?
Time saver.
You're like,
No, there's not one.
Gosh.
3
no.
girls, I'm screwed. There's no
there's
time.
no time saver.
There's no
There's really,
time.
yeah, there's no time. Maybe it would just be like allocating your time and like setting boundaries and letting your no's be no's and your yeses be yeses, because that does save time. Like
Mhm.
if you know that you don't want to do something, don't let your no be a yes.
Thank
Just
you.
let your no be a no, and like you can deal with the repercussions of that later, but that will save you time.
I love
don't know.
that.
That's
No is a
really all I can
complete
think of.
sentence. Yeah, no is a complete sentence. All right. What about inspiration? A book, a podcast, a song, a person, something that is inspiring you right now?
You got one or no?
You can go first.
There's a podcast and a guy that I've followed for years. His name is Nick Bear. He's got a podcast and a YouTube channel, and a business. He's an entrepreneur. So I would say he's like really, well, he's somebody that I can relate to. Like right now, he's got young kids and, bootstrapped a company and all these other things, and recently found his faith as well. And so it's just cool to see somebody else like kind of in the same boat.
Mhm.
He's a little bit more ahead of us right now, but
It's fine.
it's still like really neat to have somebody that I can like listen to daily and follow along with, and have like somebody just to relate to.
Yeah.
You got one or no?
You don't have to have one.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
That's good.
All right. What's your guilty pleasure? Something that you love that people might not expect.
Chocolate chip cookies.
I feel like people might expect that one.
Maybe not so unexpected, but true.
Maybe. Gosh, guilty pleasure. I know that this is a guilty pleasure because I don't want to say it. I feel like that's how you
You're like-
know. But this summer I really got into like Love Island and just like more reality. I've never been a
Mhm.
reality TV show girl, and now I feel like
It's-
I'm spiraling because it's just so entertaining.
It's like you can turn your brain off.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I had
yes.
another guest and they were, I think it was Bravo. And I was like, do not feel bad. That is like,
No.
that's where you can just numb
But
out.
that's how you know. That's how you know it's a guilty pleasure, because you're like, no
So
one needs to know.
That's so funny. All right. One key takeaway for somebody listening. What would you tell them in one sentence?
Get out of your own way. Just get out of your own way,
I love that.
because there's more regret that lives in standing in your own way than just going out and doing something. Like you can just go out and do it, and don't always be here. You got to be here, and then you got to be out there.
I would say, again, take the leap. And if you fail, it's okay. Because you can get back up and keep trying. And yeah, I think that's it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys so much. I'm always cheering for you. I can't wait to see what's next. And please keep posting all the pretty things on Instagram. I live for it.
Well, thank you so much, Kim. We appreciate it so much. We appreciate your support.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
again, like not being locals, just getting the opportunity to meet people like you. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
We love Columbus.
Non-locals unite.
Yes,
There's a lot of
yes.
us. Yeah, there's a lot of us. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. New episodes drop every Tuesday. Please subscribe and share with a friend so you don't miss the next conversation. I'm so excited to go on the journey with you. And until next time, remember the key is in the details, and the journey is just as important as the destination.